feel so fragile. I shattered. Today's the day I shine. So I drew someone who'd fly. For a moment I could touch the sky. Lifted from these feelings I can fly. When I forget comes out to drag me down, I reach for my pencil and turn it around. Read me a book just the other day, taught me to see things a whole new way. Said my problems were just opportunities, if I could only learn to change the way I see. So I counted up my assets just like it said to do. Here's what I found that I can offer you. I've got 30 things I can't sell, car in the driveway that's broke as hell, $75,000 in debt, a college degree that ain't been paid off yet. One sterling silver necklace a friend gave to me, and 39 years experience living in poverty. Well, I scratched my head at the bits I found, but I didn't quit yet, the advice seemed sound. Woo! Told me to keep a tally and to take measure of all the things I found, my hidden treasure. So I counted up my assets just like it said to do. Here's a few more things I can offer you. I got a voice like an angel, you can order it to go. I can write you a song, poem, or book, you know. I can teach you to paint or to draw if you please. I can speak to a large group or small with great ease. I can offer a couch to the wealthy who seek a unique experience, living poor for $5,000 a week. Felt so much better as I wrote down this letter. All I need now is people who pay. A little money goes a very long way. Maybe this'll be a great story to tell, if only I can find someone who'll buy the things I can sell. Ooh, won't somebody please buy the things I can sell? Fairy tale marketing, make your brand story sing. Sell your brand with your story, show your customers their glory. Appeal to the heart, that's where memories start. Let them know what you can do to make their happily ever after true. With fairy tale marketing, they'll never forget. Fairy tale marketing, it's a sure bet. Fairy tale marketing. Fairy tale marketing, make your brand If love walked in the room today, would you know it came your way? If it called your name, what would you say? Would you come to it or walk away? I've been searching everywhere, all around for love, but I don't know where it's found. Can you tell me, does it have a sound? A color, a look, is it square or round? Fairy tales, Hollywood and romance books. Is love only for those with perfect looks? Is love just a dream I created in my mind? Or is it waiting somewhere for me to find? If it already came, can I hit rewind? I've been searching, but I'm blind. If love walked in the room today, would you know it came your way? If it called your name, what would you say? Would you come to it or walk away? Love's just a feeling that fades away. Is it worth finding when it won't stay? If it takes all the color and leaves me gray, why do I need it? What does my heart say? If love walked in the room today, would you know it came your way? If it called your name, what would you say? Would you come to it or walk away? I think I found love, but I'm not sure. Can my heart trust that his love is pure? All I know is when he's near I feel secure. I've fallen so hard and there's no cure. No perfect body, so perfect looks. No fairy tales, Hollywood or romance books. I think love walked in the room today. I think it finally came away. I know I couldn't walk away. I finally know what I would say. If this is love, I hope you'll stay. If this is love, I need you to stay. Please don't ever walk away. Please don't ever walk away. Living homeless in a place where I share all the space. I'm grateful for what I've got, but it challenges me a lot. Like finding a place to meet.
Welcome to the chat, everybody. It happens to be Saturday, October 25th, 2025. We are getting back to action. We are getting back to our story. It is writing and chatting, and today is part 5 of that series. So when we last left our main character, Mortus, he had just touched down in Nashville, only to find everything in life going wrong, as often happens in a story. We've been having a lot of fun adding to this. We've been having a lot of fun putting in individual touches. This is interactive storytelling, so I like to let the audience pick where things are headed. And so here we are, chapter 3, Touchdown Nashville. I'm going to recoup where we've been so that we can pick our destination going forward. It was hours before dawn when Mortus arrived at the Des Moines airport. He slid through security without a single hitch. The attendants looked bored and tired, but they inevitably cheered up at the sight of Spin, who gave them a monkey grin. He boarded the plane with Spin at 5 a.m. that morning, bound for Nashville, Tennessee. The intel they had on the last known whereabouts of the kidnappers showed they'd taken Hawkeye into the national park around Mammoth Caves. It was a perfect hiding spot, easy to get lost if you didn't know exactly where you were going. The question on Mortus's mind, why Hawkeye? What was he involved in that made him a target? The people who had him were well known in the arms dealing ecosystem. How had Hawkeye gotten tangled up with them? Alright, let's correct that for a moment. Spin slept through the flight, getting agitated only a little on takeoff before settling back down. The anxiety Mortus felt about the whole thing kept him from doing the same, not to mention the kid who seemed determined to kick the back of his seat every 5 minutes. Kids, man, he said as he struggled to keep his irritation from spilling out. He'd never been so glad to get off a plane as he was that morning. He collected Spin as soon as the plane landed, grabbed his carry-on, and headed toward baggage claim. He waited as the luggage began slowly making its way onto the carousel, but when the last item loaded from the plane, he growled a bit in frustration. That's fantastic! They've lost my luggage. That luggage contained the guns for his mission and the clothes on his back. Now, how was he supposed to get Hawkeye back? All he had left was the carry-on with his portable guitar and the J-rig. Freaking fantastic! He headed toward the service department, pulling his permit out of his wallet as he went. Try explaining that cargo to their claims department. He wasn't the only one, apparently. There was quite a line at the counter. He sighed and stepped out of line, went outside and pulled his cell phone from his front pocket. He sent a quick text. Mike, we've got a problem. Give me a call when you get this. It took all of about 5 minutes before Mike called him. What's up? The luggage is missing, my man. Every single thing I packed. The stuff you sent me, it's all gone, he explained. Mike dropped an F-bomb. All right, give me 20 minutes. I'll tell you where the next drop point is. Mortus sighed. Should I bother filing a claim? Mike guffawed. Yeah, go ahead. The military still loves paperwork, and it proves you didn't mishandle what was sent to you. Mortus walked back into the airport. Spin chittered in his carrier, so Mortus let him out. The monkey climbed up on his shoulder and wrapped his tail around Mortus's neck, content to sit there and observe. He handed the monkey a banana while they waited. And waited. And waited. The lady at the counter stared at him with glazed eyes. He was fairly certain she did not have any cares in the world left to give him. How may I help you, sir? She asked, while pulling a form out of a desk and sliding it across the counter. They lost my luggage, she explained. If you'll fill out the form I just handed you, we'll be happy to try and retrieve that for you. In the meanwhile, she said, pulling out a tiny bag of toiletries and handing it to him, here is an essentials kit. Mortus stared at the kit and then stared at her. Lady, I don't think this is going to do anything for me, he said, handing it back. What's in this won't help me with my essential tasks. I'm sorry to hear that, sir, she said as she handed him the clipboard. Please fill out the form and return it to me. We'll do our best to return your luggage as soon as possible. He spent the next 10 minutes filling out the form she'd requested, and another 30 minutes waiting in line to return the form to her. His phone beeped with a message from Mike containing the information about where to pick up his replacement supplies. By the time all was said and done, it was approaching noon. He headed to the rental car counter, stomach grumbling. Spin, remind me again why I agreed to this mess. Spin chittered noisily in response. The rental car staff member looked as frazzled as he felt. Yes, sir. How may I help you? I have a reservation for a rental vehicle, he said as he slid over the paperwork Mike sent in his email. Well, there's been a problem with that, the attendant said with a grimace. A problem? Mortus asked. Yes, we're all out of the reserved fleet vehicles the government allows. All we've got left is one e-bike, he explained. But I promise it's top of class. Mortus stared at the man. You've got to be kidding me. The attendant shook his head. I'm afraid not, sir. I'm afraid not. How am I supposed to fit this carry-on, myself, and the monkey on an e-bike, he growled, his patience thinning. We can affix a basket to it if you prefer, the attendant suggested helpfully. Mike couldn't wait. Mortus couldn't wait for this day to be over. If this was how the rest of the assignment was going to go, he hoped Hawkeye wasn't planning to be rescued anytime soon. Fine, I'll take it. He watched as the attendant affixed a 2-slot basket to the bike before strapping his carry-on to one side and Spin's carrier to the other. He mounted the bike as he asked, "Can this day get any worse?" As if in answer to his question, it began to rain. Not a small, slow, gentle rain, but the kind that left him and Spin soaking wet by the time they arrived at the new drop point. He dismissed from the bike, stinking of wet monkey, with Spin angrily tugging at his hair. "Great! How do I get that onto the e-bike?" he said, eyeing the metal trunk containing the replacement stash they'd provided him. He sighed. "I really am too old for this." "Hey, it's an Ubi! It's all right. You appear not to be the only one who slept." He pulled out his phone and ordered a ride share to the hotel. "They better reimburse me for this." He stood in the pouring rain with no umbrella and decided to film a quick YouTube video about his day. "Never ask questions to which you do not sincerely want the answers," he said into the camera. "Today I dared to ask how much worse could my day get, and immediately found out." He turned his camera around so they could see the drenched Finn and himself standing in the rain beside the e-bike. "And this is the best the rental car company could do for me. Some days you win, some days you're Spin." He posted it to YouTube while he waited for the ride share to arrive. And that is where we left off. So we're 3 chapters in. We've got Spin and Mortus waiting for the ride share in the rain, hoping for some relief from all the problems they've got. And ladies and gentlemen, if you've got 99 problems, you have great news. What the news is it? You've got creative inspiration in abundance, if you just look at it. All right, so chapter 4, to the hotel. So here we are. Now, we've got a rideshare driver on the way. They haven't arrived yet. Let's see, so that's about 3 pages. I usually like to keep my chapters about 3 pages long. So who is going to be the rideshare driver? This will be a new character we're introducing. It could be a short-term character that we meet once and therefore they're not going to get a name. Or it could be something interesting happens with the rideshare driver and we actually bother to keep him in the story and give him a name. And I will let you guys choose that. I'm just going to give you 2 options. Keep the rideshare driver or let him go. And once we have that decision made, we'll get on to the rest of the story. But Ubi, so good to see you in chat. First, let him go. All right. You're the first and only in my stream today, so appreciate you showing up for me. I do. That's awesome. I love lurkers. You're just the only one not hungover enough to type, huh? All right. Cool. We still got the let him go mentality going strong, so we're gonna let this guy go. Although if we decide to change our mind later, we can always pull him back in. Hey, Jeremy! No worries. Thanks for coming. right, so here we are. The rideshare driver arrived prepared, pulling out a sheet of plastic to throw over the upholstery before Mortus took his seat. He hitched the e-bike to the back of his vehicle and tucked Mortus's luggage in the trunk. "There's a towel waiting for you in the console, sir. Center console, sir," the man said. Whoops. Man? All right. Mortus felt grateful for the attention to detail the man showed. It was the only bright side in an otherwise dismal day. They arrived at the motel on the outskirts of town without any further incident, and Mortus left the man his last $10 as a tip, along with a glowing review. It was the best way he knew to show his appreciation. The hotel attendant looked like an interesting character. Bright pink hair, bubblegum lipstick, black corset and a white blouse over bright pink pants, and black combat boots. The gender wasn't entirely clear to him, but that just meant the attendant would have fit in at any of the concerts Mortus attended in the 80s. "Can I help you?" she or he or whatever asked as he stepped forward. "I've got a room reservation," he said, showing the email printout. The attendant stared at the paper and then began typing into the computer before looking back up. "Yes, I see the reservation. It's too early, I'm afraid, to allow for check-in. However, I'll be happy to let you store your things behind the counter." No chance of early check-in? Mortus found his hopes plummeting. All he wanted was to get into the room and relax. The attendant shook his head. "Afraid not, sweetie. We had a full house last night. It's going to be taking our girls quite a bit of time to get the rooms cleaned up." "Just my luck," he grumbled. "If you'd like, you can wait it out in our little restaurant over there. I'm sure they'll be happy to seat you," the attendant recommended. Mortus thought about his empty wallet and shook his head. "Thanks, but no thanks." And there we are for so far. All right. Now we have our next big plot point. So what is Mortus going to do while he's got this time before check-in? It's probably right about now, probably about 1:30 or 2 in the afternoon. He's got at least an hour and a half or two to kill. We can either skip over that entirely, or we can, let's see, skip over that time completely, or we can fill it in with some action and adventure. We can throw an event out there. Here we go. And just a reminder, events are just things that happen to change the direction of the story. How hurting am I for length? It's more of a, I can always fill in things, it's more of an opportunity to, we're not really hurting for length. We don't need to pad per se. It's just an opportunity to introduce something different if we wanted to change the direction of the story. Engage event mode. I love it. Time for the event. Doom, doom, doom. Let's see. Well, we're headed to the train station, and train stations are perfect places for events to happen. The question is, what kind of event should we have? We've already dumped on this guy today. Let's pull from Brandy's past experiences and see what I can think of. I know. I'll ask you guys. What's going to be the event? Let's see. No, the monkey has not yet learned to play the fiddle or flute. There we go. We got 3 options. We're going to have him meet a new character, or a natural disaster will happen, or an impromptu concert is happening at the station. That's cool. Good deal. Glad to see you, Malachi. A natural disaster. You guys are really loving giving him a hard time. Poor guy. Life is filled with hard times. Yes, it is. But, as I said earlier, if you have 99 problems, creative inspiration isn't one of them. And every problem is an opportunity to pour how you feel about that problem into your creativity and then turn that into something that you can leverage to get the things you need. All right. So we're going to have him. And yes, it does indeed build character. Well, actually, I guess problems technically reveal character more than they build it. They give you opportunities to reflect on what your character is and how you handle. In fact, that's a truth too, is that how a character handles problems reveals a lot about their character. And so it's one of the reasons to throw a lot of them at them, because the more problems they get, the deeper into the problems they go, the more that you see of who they are when times get tough, which is who they are on the inside. Yes, it's 3:33. All right. No worries. You don't have to apologize me for taking a second to pray. So we've combined the natural disaster with the impromptu concert at the station. And now Mortis gets a chance to figure out how he's going to help these people get out of harm's way when the loud music may be preventing them from hearing anything. That's true too. Could be that the band's name is Natural Disaster, my husband says. Mr. Ubi. Alright, you know what? I like that idea. Alright. Hey. That would be wicked to have a band that used tornado sirens. I mean, if you were called natural disaster, why wouldn't you? You know, as part of their sound. Oh, yeah. Well, you know, there's a miracle thing where I can actually enlarge the typing. Is that better? That's when his eyes strayed to the skies and he noticed the telltale signs of a fledgling tornado beginning to form. The dark skies overhead began taking on an eerie green to them just as Mortus's phone went off with a weather alert. Mortus wondered how many in the crowd closest to the stage could hear it. He frowned as he started jogging toward the train station. It looked sturdy, built of stone, but nowhere near large enough to handle as many people as were in the crowd. There we go. All right. A pang of guilt struck him. Always, always. I don't want people getting lost. You know, got to put your flashers and let me know when you do. Yeah, you know, shoulda, coulda, wouldas. Alright, let's see. So here's where we got to. Streaming. Let's see. Spin. He Mortis headed to the train station, not because he intended to go anywhere, but because they offered benches and the walk was at least something to do. His stomach rumbled, reminding him that it had been nearly 10 hours already since his last meal. Spin rested his head on Mortis's, and his silence told Mortis all he needed to know about the monkey's morale. Spin was likely every bit as hungry as he was. He thought about texting Mike to ask for some cash for the road, but he felt ashamed to admit that his bank account was as dry as the Sahara. Streaming wasn't bringing in the money he'd hoped, and his efforts to find work were not panning out. This trip, this mission, was the only thing that had come along in quite some time. Hey, Jeremy! Talk to you later. Have a great rest of your day. The sounds of music and a driving drum beat reached his ears as he drew closer to the station. Intrigued, he sped up his pace. This might just be the best thing to happen to him yet. Even Spin seemed to perk up, chittering a bit at him. There was a large stage just outside the train station with several musicians in costume playing their hearts out. Mortus pulled out his phone to start recording, only to get a notification that it was at 20% charge. Yikes! When in strange places, Mortus learned that a charged phone could be a lifesaver, but his charger was back at the motel. The banner over the stage gave the band's name Natural Disaster, which Mortus found entirely fitting for the day. He shook his head in amusement. He stayed on the outskirts of the crowd, not moving any closer. The rock ballads blasting from the speakers were enough to drown out the faint sound of tornado sirens in the background. When no one else reacted, he wondered if the sirens were real or just part of the band's sound. That's when his eyes strayed to the skies, and he noticed the telltale signs of a fledgling tornado beginning to form. The dark skies overhead began taking on an eerie green to them just as Mortus's phone went off with a weather alert. Mortus wondered how many in the crowd closest to the stage could hear it. He frowned as he started jogging toward the train station. It looked sturdy, built of stone, but nowhere near large enough to handle as many people as were in the crowd. A pang of guilt struck him. If he didn't alert these people to the danger coming and help get as many to the shelter as possible, he'd have to live with the guilt of that. But given how many of them there were, and how little time he had to do anything about it, how many could he save? He looked for something that he could use to grab attention, just as a gust of wind tore through the banner on stage and ripped down one of the awnings. Spin screeched and tugged his hair. I know, little guy, I know. We gotta do something. He decided to grab the attention of a young couple closest to him. He couldn't help everyone, but he could help those closest to him. There's a storm coming. Head to the shelter. The couple stared at him, uncomprehending, until they looked up at the sky. Their eyes widened, and they nodded, running in the direction of the station. Mortus moved toward the next couple. Spin, grab someone for me. Spin jumped off his shoulder and ran into the crowd, darting where Mortus couldn't go. The crowd in front of him began to clear out as the first fingers of the coming storm began to approach the ground. Stiff winds snapped tree limbs overhead, and the band stopped playing. Spin and he reunited as the crowd parted, everyone heading in a different direction. Mortus remained on course, fighting against the winds that pushed against him as he moved toward the train station. He should have checked the weather before leaving the motel, he chided himself. Too late for that now. Alright. So there we go. And we've been working on this for almost an hour. That's funny. I didn't even realize that much time had passed. Okay. And we're at the end of a chapter, basically, so that's cool. You know, this is where we gotta figure out what's gonna happen next. Oh. Well, that's a good question. That is a very good question. No idea where we're going to take this next. So, well, I mean, I have a thought about it. I mean, I know what I'd do in that situation. All right. It is 3 p.m. and we have got Mortus in the worst situation of his life. He's lifting into the air, spins tails wrapped around his neck so tight he's about choking him. That tornado's bearing down on them, and that's where we're leaving it. We don't know what's going to happen in the next chapter, how he's going to survive this, but indeed, we can guess that he's going to survive because otherwise there's not much of a story left. So, thanks for joining me this Saturday. I hope you join me for the next Saturday. Let's see where he goes. Mortis is not having a good time of it, but everything he faces, we learn something new about him. We learn more about who he is as a character, how he behaves, and hopefully we get the sense of the kind of man that he is, and that this is the kind of man that we can root for. All right. Thanks for watching. I will see you if you join me on Monday. I've got art and drawing and chilling on Monday at 6:30. And then Ubi's stream, of course, is at 8 o'clock. So if you don't know about that, you can join him for music and mayhem. Yes, Mortis is a survivor and he will make it. So music and mayhem with Ubi is Monday nights at 8 to 10. And then, yeah, so hopefully I'll see you on Monday. Thanks for watching and have a truly blessed Saturday. If you liked what you got, I think I have links for ways you could donate or contribute, tips, whatever, in the comments. Not that they're required by any stretch of imagination, but they do help. So thanks for watching. Have a blessed day. I'll see you Monday.